Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Infinity Slayer gameplay. Score in the background is 27-0. You may have already correctly assumed that the enemy team are of the scrub-a-dub-dub-dub variety, and yes, this is correct. These players may have had their brain surgically removed in some sort of incident. I'm not sure if they're giving them away for science. I suppose I respect them for doing so, but it most certainly does not help them in this particular gameplay. These players are not the best, as Umanik would say. Nonetheless, I'm not just here to talk smack about the enemy team. I actually had a topic that I wanted to discuss with you guys today, and it's regarding the sense of achievement in gaming. Now, I'm not talking about Xbox 360 achievements and getting gamer score, etc. I'm just talking about awarding players with the feeling that they've accomplished something within their game experience, and it's something that I feel like is severely lacking from a lot of the AAA shooters as of general. They seem to be chipping away at this sense of achievement and leaving players in the dark to an extent, and I want to go over a couple of the more recent culprits of this action and who I think's to blame and why they're doing it and what the solution maybe is. So I'm going to start off with Titanfall. Titanfall was one of the more recent games we saw, and it was a game that didn't have that much long-lasting success in the public eye. I'm pretty sure that it managed to achieve sales figures, but in terms of longevity and keeping players buzzed on the experience and keeping players talking about the experience, that's kind of where Titanfall fell short of the mark a little bit. And I believe this is due to not rewarding players with a sense of achievement. First of all, you've got the fact that there was no ranking system. Now, I've always said that maybe Titanfall wasn't the game that needed a ranking system. You know, I enjoyed Call of Duty for a extremely long amount of time without the need for an achievement, a ranking system, and without the need for competitive progression. I believe there's other ways of progressing your character. And it was so weird for Respawn Entertainment, who were formerly Infinity Ward, to miss this, because I feel like they got it with Modern Warfare 2. Like, yes, the problem with Modern Warfare 2 came down to bad game mechanic choices, not necessarily the sense of achievement. I feel like that's something that Modern Warfare 2 did best, with stuff like the red tiger skins, the blue tiger skins, the camos, the challenges, the prestige emblems. Of course, this actually got exploited later down the line when there was stuff like boosters and glitches, ways of getting around this, but if Infinity Ward hadn't have been removed from Activision, who knows if this would have still been a problem. I think Titanfall, one of its biggest problems is there was no sense of identity within the matchmaking, because there was not much to accomplish in form of decking out your Titan, in form of making your player look different from enemy players, in form of weapon camos, in form of unlocks, customization. There was next to nothing there. And once again, it just seemed extremely surprising from a company like Infinity Ward, who I felt really nailed it in Modern Warfare 2. There was so much customization, there was so much to be getting on with it, and a large part of me didn't want to leave Modern Warfare 2. You know, when I was getting frustrated with the gameplay mechanics and how annoying the game could be on a regular basis, a part of me was still invested in my player and invested in trying to get the challenges, so that I stayed on a lot longer than I normally would have. So that was kind of frustrating. Then we'll move into Halo 4. Now, I'm not going to talk about the gameplay mechanics themselves, because I think this has been beaten to death, although I do think there are ways that the gameplay mechanics reward players with less sense of accomplishment. But I want to talk instead about the fact of, first, the campaign, in the fact that there was very little movement options and decision-making options within the actual arc of the campaign. It felt very linear, it felt like you were going from switch to switch, and it felt like you couldn't imprint your own decision-making process and imprint your own, yourself as a person into this campaign. The things that I liked about the previous Halo campaigns is a lot of them felt sandboxy, a lot of them felt like there were choices to be made, and a lot of it felt like each time you play through the campaign could be a different experience. How you played the campaign could be different from how Jeff down the street played the campaign, and it was really exciting to talk about and to experience, as a group of friends, to talk about and to discuss. And it's something that Halo 4 kind of annoyed me when they added the QuickTime events in, when they added in the restricted movement options in general, and the restricted, ways to approach the combat. It felt like Halo 4 had kind of cut away the individuality. When you talk about TV to people, one of the reasons I feel like people got sick of TV is because it often feels like you're not a participant, you can't contribute, and you are watching the experience, but you are not a part of the experience. It's why I started to get sick of TV. A lot of time, maybe I'd watch TV for 6 hours, or I'd watch Netflix for 6 hours, and I feel like I hadn't accomplished anything by the end. And gaming has always been something that's managed to award players and keep them connected to the experience because they feel like they are a part of it. They feel like the experience wouldn't be the same if they hadn't have gone into it and contributed what they could contribute to it, especially in the multiplayer experience where you get to get your own rank, where you get to attain, you know, a position within the community and become a part of that community, and you feel like you added to it. You didn't detract from it. You weren't a neutral, you know, you did something to it, and that's a really, really incredible feeling, which also ties into another problem that I think Halo 4 had with the problem of the lack of ranks. I feel like ranks, you know, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, you know, it's about adding in a competitive experience. A game needs a competitive experience, etc. But not only that, but I think just having the insignias and having the in-game ranks, something that separated you from the other players and said, hey, I am a brigadier. This was a talking point. This was something to get you connected to the game and, you know, maybe see where you were against other players. It created a more social experience. You had something to work to and you had goals to try and accomplish. And it was just an exciting time to be a gamer all round, and I'm not necessarily sure why they got rid of it. I feel like what's becoming a problem with gaming as of recently is that the overall industry is moving more towards this mindset of we don't want any losers. The developers are creating the game with an infrastructure of, oh, if we reward some people, then other people will feel bad because they lost. You know, even in terms of, I can't help but feel like even in terms of a cosmetic section and a customized section, that players who want to feel themselves, you know, enhance their character and become a part of the battlefield, that they're taking that out because they don't want to feel like the lower level players are missing out on the action. It feels like everyone gets the same experience, everyone gets the same end of the stick, so that players don't have to feel like they're losing towards these higher level players who have all these ranks and have all this customization, and overall the experience feels a lot more hollower. You know, it's so hard being someone who is a fan of gaming as an industry and wants to put time into these games and really respects the jobs that the developers do, but I put more and more time into these games and I feel like I'm almost being punished or left in the dark for wanting to do so. It becomes this matter of, oh, you know, we're just trying to provide a buzz for the initial players, but you long-term players, you know, we don't want you to feel, you know, good about the fact that you actually took time to improve and enhance your gameplay. So we're not going to give you the rewards for doing so. It just seems absolutely mind-blowing to me that, you know, it's kind of like the sore losers are becoming, you know, they're getting their way in a sense. You know, I feel like they're listening too much to the play testers who come into these games and play a little bit, and maybe they say, oh, this felt a little bit too difficult because, you know, it feels like I keep getting lost, or it feels like, you know, these players are just doing stuff that I can't necessarily keep up with. Could I have a couple of tools? And, you know, that's not who you should be listening to at all. You know, when everybody is winning, nobody is winning, essentially. You know, nobody's getting the good end of the stick in that format. You know, you're getting this very, very hollow victory, which in the grand scheme of things means nothing, and it might provide you with a little bit of buzz, but you're essentially paying $40 or $60 for someone to give you a pat on the back and tell you you're special. And I don't want that, you know? I want to put time into this. The whole reason I abandoned TV and I abandoned other forms of media was because this was something I could participate with, something that could have a skill curve and something where I could, you know, imprint my identity onto the console. It's why I got into YouTube. It's why I got into gaming, because you know, I want to progress. I love the feeling of progression. I love the feeling of improving and enhancement, and I don't like to feel like a static part of the environment, to feel like it would be the same if I wasn't there. Everyone wants to be able to express themselves through gaming, and not having the chance to do so, having that taken away from you, is a very, very depressing aspect, I feel like. I hope you guys can agree with where I'm coming from. I might not have spoken myself, you know, for myself completely clearly, but I tried my best. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I've been Modest Major. Peace out.